Hello, Gotta Love Connecticut hockey viewers. Welcome to another episode of At Home. Today we're with Dr. Jason Emery from Northeast Psych, who's going to talk a little bit about something that's probably affecting all of us, and that's the stress and the differences of being at home. So, Jason, how are things going at your house?
Thanks, Ken. I think what's happening here is happening all over the state, country, world. We're figuring out how to make this work, this new normal.
Why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things that are the significant changes that are probably affecting adults, but probably more importantly as kids, because the kids don't necessarily understand some of what's going on.
And that varies by age group, right? But obviously everyone knows that something big is happening, even the younger ones. And obviously the biggest thing right now is social distancing piece, which leads to just a lot less contact besides practices and games and whatnot and meeting with teammates is the school missing. A lot of kids have devices and are staying in touch with their friends. But if you think about it, even between one class walking down the hall, you're interacting for even a split second with dozens and dozens of kids. And so multiply that by every day and every class, and then multiply that by 5 times a week. And the volume of contact with others is just plummeted. Zoom or FaceTime or any of the other number of ways are excellent methods to stay connected. But the reality is it's different. That plummeting of social contact has really resulted for most folks in some degree of the loss of that. And we may not say it overtly, I'm feeling really low or depressed or isolated, but the reality is it's happening. I mean, there's going to have an impact on us some way or another. So rather than sort of fight that, just sort of accept that there's a piece of that and that it's a loss. And of course, there's tons of emotion that comes with that. In our household, we missed a regional championship and a tournament rather, and all of spring season. That hurts. So I think that most people are kind of running the gamut of sort of what the loss piece is like. And again, we all have our different styles. Some people you may talk to, you may not notice anything. Some people are really just in that place where that loss piece is kind of overwhelming. We all sort of handle change differently, and it hasn't been easy.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. In my house, we have a 10-year-old, and a couple of weeks back, probably 3 weeks into this school shutdown, he came to me and said, Dad, I'm really missing my friends. And for him to express that, I thought was really kind of interesting. Yeah. Luckily, he's been online playing games with everybody, and so at least he's got that contact. But beyond that, he really has none. It's just he's here with his parents, and as an adult, you don't sometimes understand what's really impacting the kids, but it is significant.
And Kenny, I'm just going to jump in real quickly on that because this has come up for everybody. The amount that our kids are playing in terms of the video game the connection via the video games is skyrocketed. We as adults just have to sort of figure out what that family balance is. I don't think there's many families that are like, play 24/7. It's just not healthy on so many levels. But also that there is actually real contact in the games typically because they're talking verbally or they're seeing text or whatnot. Some of that I think is okay because that is where they're getting some of their social contact.
The other thing too is we've all experienced the loss of not having hockey. Season ending. Regional tournaments, national tournaments, tryouts. Kids would typically be skating in the summer a little bit, maybe doing a hockey camp or a spring league team. Parents and kids are worrying about upcoming tryouts and they haven't been on the ice. What do you recommend to try to help keep people settled relative to those topics?
Yeah, that's a great question because the reality right now is that we actually don't know when it's go time. But I think most immediately, the theme is the same. You always have to be ready. The rinks are not going to open tomorrow. We know that. Do they open in a month? I don't know. Do they open in 4 months? I'm not sure. And I really feel that the game itself is a fantastic analogy for almost anything and everything in life. When you're on the bench, right, and you're sort of essentially waiting for your opportunity, anything can happen on the ice. Penalties, power play, penalty kill, and you may not be tapped to go on the ice. You'll always have to be ready. And that includes the nutrition side, that includes the physical side, that includes the mental side. And so the idea of when are tryouts going to happen and what should I do and what's the approach, as hard as it is not to have the immediate gratification of I'm driving to the rink to go play and to train and get ready, or you're not someone who's already just continued to train and work out cardio, flexibility, strength training, if you're not already doing that stuff and you're feeling stuck, pretend that it's time to go next week. And then always kind of have that vision just ahead of you. And I don't think it's playing games with yourself. I don't think it's trying to trick yourself, because we really don't know when we're gonna get back, for instance, on the ice. As hard as it is not to have a rink to go to, not to have a team to physically gather with, the idea is to flip that from here's what I can't do to here are the opportunities. Like if you think about it, because we're not at school as often, we're not at in the office as often, there's way more opportunity to do stuff. It may not be our favorite thing to do or our preferred way to go, but under the theme of controlling the controllables, if you have time to work out and train in any way, you have an opportunity to do that. And there's tons of resources online to get the ball rolling. And so there's always these opportunities to continue to just stay at it, even if we don't know when it's go time, but you always have to be ready on the bench for your opportunity, and then it's time to strike. So I think that the best advice that I've been hearing, and again, passing on to clients, is really around this idea of opportunity and to be prepared. And I would much rather see someone say, okay, it's 2:00 in the afternoon and I'm going to go run, I'm going to go work out, than get to, oh, look, tryouts are now in 2 weeks. And you're like, oh, I'm totally not prepared. I'm out of shape. My hands are rocks. And have that almost like that regret. Have the vision in mind, have the why in mind, and just pretend that it is really just around the corner, because frankly, it might be. We don't know.
Well, Doc, I really appreciate your time, your thoughts, and sharing those with us. I know I'm going to go outside and get a little exercise right now. That we give me a little bit of motivation to do so.
Awesome, and a break in the rain.
And hopefully we'll all be back on the ice soon. But once again,
Can't wait.
Appreciate your thoughts, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks so much, Ken.